What is going on? What is up, everyone? Ty, how's it going? Surprised to see you going live this early. Yeah, doing just a chill, quick morning stream for me here in Ohio. It's 9 a.m. Gonna just be going for, I don't know, 90 minutes or so. Gonna be working on. So actually, I did say the Enterprise, which if you look behind me, uh, right there, that's our progress from our last stream. Just two bags into the set, and then we got Beverly and Ensign Row. But Ensign Row is actually from this, which came with the Enterprise set. This shuttle pod, and my original plan was to do that original stream, start with this, so we can get something done and then move on to the Enterprise. But Alex said we should just do the Enterprise because that was the purpose of the stream. And he was correct because, we only got a little bit into it, and that was just with doing the Enterprise the whole time. So I'm going to now do this shuttle pod, hopefully finish it or at least get very far on this stream. Um, and then if by some miracle, not only do I, work on it, but I actually get done with the shuttle and still have time, then I can work on the actual Enterprise. But I'll probably be doing these more often, especially over the next few weeks while we're still on our Star Trek break. So, for anyone that's unaware, we finished in terms of recording. We watched the Deep Space Nine season 2 finale, which was our last Star Trek episode. Um, I don't know. I think maybe the week before Thanksgiving, if I had to remember correctly. And then we are resuming our Star Trek journey in terms of Deep Space Nine season 3, the first week of January. So we've taken a little over a full month off of watching in our linear journey fashion, or the biggest, break we've taken since season 2, after finishing season 2 of TOS. So it's been about 3 years since we took this kind of break, and around then it was for around the holidays as well. And we're not taking breaks anymore between seasons. The reason we did it was because we finished the Next Generation completely, so we wanted to give ourselves time to rewatch, our favorite episodes of that show, and we recorded a retrospective discussion on the show, our favorite episodes of the series, our least favorite episodes, as well as the season 7 of TNG and season 2 of Deep Space Nine recap videos. So that's all been taking place, but we have still been doing Star Trek reactions as well. So once that break comes to YouTube, you'll see that in terms of we did another episode of Star Trek Continues. We rewatched Encounter at Farpoint right after watching All Good Things, and we're also doing a couple other Star Trek related reactions. So once that break that's already happening on Patreon. Once that break hits YouTube here in a few weeks, for so January basically, there still will be Star Trek reaction content as well as all of that other Star Trek discussion type content, and we're going to be doing more Star Trek live streams, such as our tier lists. But not just for the episodes of the season, we're going to be doing extra ones like character tier lists for TNG. Maybe some extra type of discussions such as like Picard versus Kirk and things like that over live stream. So that'll all be coming during that break. But in terms of all of that being said, I said all of that to say I'll probably be doing these building streams solo when I have time, and then also maybe Alex and I can do another at some point while we're still on this break. But there's not a lot of time because Christmas is almost here. We'll be on our holiday break in terms of recording, so it'll probably be solo streams for the most part of me building this until we return to watching it in January. Thank you very much, Sixto. So I just want to point out real quick, thank you for the super chat, Sixto. We do have a goal going, 10 super chats, and it's going to be, as of right now, I'm going to edit the preemptive strike reaction for Monday, but if we do hit this goal on stream, I'll make sure to get it done tonight so I can post it tomorrow a couple days early, and then basically that'll just push everything ahead. So Mike asked about when will TNG finale come out on YouTube. As of right now, it is scheduled for Thursday, so a week from yesterday, the 18th. It should hit YouTube. Now, regardless if preemptive strike goes up tomorrow or Monday, that will still remain the same as far as I have planned, because it'll either be Monday preemptive strike, Tuesday is a DS9 episode, and then Thursday all good things, or I'll just do preemptive strike tomorrow, and then the DS9 episode will be Monday or Tuesday, and then I'll just do another video on one of those days. So either way, the finale should be planned for Thursday in terms of the YouTube. Yes, we will be doing it as a premiere. So just keep that in mind. If you don't like premieres, obviously you can watch it right afterwards, or you could even, it's DVR, you can start from the beginning whenever you jump in. But we will be doing it as a premiere. Probably, if I had to guess, probably around 11 or so Eastern time on Wednesday or Thursday, sorry, AM. So that's kind of my plan right now. But things can always change. I still have to edit the video, so it's not, I don't have it done and ready. But Sixto, thank you for the super chat. Yo, Josh, good morning. Guess where I'm at? That's right, the streets. Sixto's over in our Bridge Crew Discord. It's our highest tier on Patreon. You get access to a private Discord where Alex and I interact in daily and do monthly hangouts. And we have a joke with Sixto. Every time we do the monthly hangout, he's always recording while walking the streets of New York. So that's good to know. Even in the morning, you're out there in those streets of New York. But that's kind of just living in New York, right? I mean, here in Ohio, I don't have to walk any. Not that I don't have to walk anywhere. I really, there's no point in walking anywhere. Where I live is would be a 20-30 minute walk to the closest store, but it's only a 5 minute drive. So I know New York obviously much different. I still want to go to New York. I actually a number of years ago, 2021, fall of 2021. So over a year before we even started the channel, I had planned, my wife and I, we got married early 2021, and we planned our honeymoon as a trip to New York City. Booked the hotel, booked the flight, get to the airport. Huge hurricane hits New York City. I don't know if you remember this, Sixto, or anyone that was there. This would have been fall of 2021. Huge hurricane, subways flooded, airport terminals flooded, and our flight was canceled while we were sitting on the plane, ready to leave. So then we get off the plane, we talk to the people at the airport, and they say the next flight we can get to New York is like, or you know what? No, I forgot. This is the best part of the story. We weren't in Cleveland. So we had a connecting flight through Myrtle Beach. So we fly to Myrtle Beach, get to Myrtle Beach, get on the airplane at that airport, and then get told our flight is canceled. So then we had about a 3 day trip planned. So then we go to talk about rescheduling our flight. The next flight that's even scheduled for New York is in 2 or 3 days. So basically, our choices at that point were take some type of refund or flight credit and get on the next flight home back to Cleveland. But even that flight wasn't that night. We would have had to stay at a hotel and find a flight back. They were like, if you absolutely need to go leave tonight, we can fly you to what's that one city that has all the casinos but not Vegas? Atlantic City. They're like, we can fly you to Atlantic City, red eye. Well, fly you there now and then red eye you to Cleveland, all this stuff. Or you can wait a day or two to go to Cleveland. So we just decided, screw it, impromptu honeymoon trip in Myrtle Beach. Now, will I ever go to Myrtle Beach again? No, probably not. I didn't hate it though. Um, but for an impromptu, nothing planned trip, it turned out okay. But because of that, I never got to go to New York City, unfortunately. So I still would like to do that eventually. The thing with us is, we're Disney World adults, so anytime we're planning a trip, it's tough to not just consider Disney as that number one choice. Uh, Even if it's just a day or two. Just this last February, we went to Disney World. Only went to Epcot. We're there one day. It's only a little over 2 hour flight to Orlando. So from where we're at, so it's just like left at 5 a.m. Got there, spent the day there, stayed one night, left the next day, and it was great. So anytime we want to go on a trip, it's hard to not choose something over that. But I would like to go to New York City. And just quickly on the Disney thing, I don't even care. Regardless of what your opinion is on anything Disney, it doesn't even matter. Honestly, in my opinion, I mean, I do enjoy a lot of Disney stuff, but you know, it's like the park is just park hits different. It's honestly things have gotten so bad in the country in terms of like customer service and all those things and just like experiences, the effort of people that just like Disney's like one of the last even remaining places where I feel like I'm not going to just be treated like shit the whole time. Cedar Point right next to me. Yeah, I grew up with Cedar Point, so I've been going there my whole life. so a little bit spoiled on it because of that, in the sense of it's not special to me anymore. I'm also now too big. I've been too big for uh, most of my adult life to fit on most of the rides. There are still a few elite Cedar Point rides I can fit on, like the Maverick, but for the most part, I can't fit on many of them. And Disney World is what we like to call Pooh Bear friendly. You can really be almost any size and fit on basically every ride at Disney World. They don't have a lot of thrill coaster rides like a Cedar Point, so that makes sense. But um, that's one factor as well. Sixto gets into Disney for free. That's insane. Sixto, email me your credentials. I'm gonna steal your identity. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna put a picture of your face, like Deadpool in the first Deadpool movie with Hugh Jackman. All right, we should get started on this. Get started on this shuttle. While I answer your guys' questions because I'm not gonna be streaming too long today. But check this out. I got this set up. We'll see if this works. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't. Check this out here. Boom. When we were building it last time, people were asking if they could get a top view. And my Mac comes with a desk camera. So I set that up, and now you guys can get a better view at me building it. Oh, because I look cool, because I work for them? Yeah. All right, so I'm going to guess. Now, we already have Ensign Row built. It's behind me. I'm going to guess we're going to start with bag one. And I do apologize if the bag noises are really loud. I'll try to do that as, less as possible. Also, update for anyone that was wondering, they have sent the replacement sticker for the typo. But I haven't gotten it yet, but there's already a controversy over that. Because I mean, obviously, look at me. I'm not a huge collector. These things don't matter as much to me, but totally valid for those who it does. But in the original sticker for the one that had the typo, the plaque, it was like had a very a lot of fine details. And this replacement one they're sending out is stripped of a lot of those details on the sticker. It looks more generic. So people are really freaking out. Like, you sent us this incorrect sticker, and now you're giving us a replacement that looks worse. I do think that's pretty shitty, personally. But what are you gonna do? All right. Let me get the instruction book, and let's get started. So here we go, and this is the Onizuka. Was this in the show? I already did row. That's behind me. My book's all folded up, unfortunately, from shoving it in the box, so I gotta... All right, so... Gonna assume this is bag one, yeah. Okay, let's get started with bag one. I'm going to put this over here. Anyway, in the meantime, how's everyone doing? This is their smallest shuttle. Okay. Go ahead and just pour this out. There we go. Hopefully we're not missing any parts. I'm guessing this bag here is just like extra parts in case you need them. Okay. But yeah, had a pretty good week in terms of editing and things. Got a couple of TOS uncuts from season 1 restored. So that's good. Those are going up on Patreon, but meaning to do that for a while. 13 days away from Christmas. It is wild. Yeah, I read something online, or I saw a TikTok rather. That's like the classic, right? Like, you say, "Oh, I read something online." You mean you saw a TikTok? I saw a TikTok of someone talking about how, because people don't really use cable anymore, um, that we don't really experience the holidays the same way because, growing up, or even if you were an adult at that time, you know, everyone was watching 25 Days of Christmas on ABC Family. Everyone was watching ABC, CBS, all these things. What was on TV last night? I mean, same thing with Star Trek, right? And now everything's just so sectioned off that it's like I don't see ads really in my daily life with anything I watch, except for on the internet. But when it comes to like watching anything on TV or movies, I don't see ads anymore. So I don't see Christmas ads. I don't see what Christmas movies are playing on TV. I don't. It's just like a little bit different in that way. I haven't watched anything Christmas related yet this year. Me and my wife just signed up last night to Hallmark Plus to watch some cringe Hallmark movies. That's something we like to do together, is watch cringe stuff and laugh. Um, so we're gonna do that, but we haven't started yet. So that's interesting. Got another super chat. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you for the super chat. Good luck, Josh. Enjoy the shuttle flight. Thank you for setting up the overhead cam. We can help you find bricks. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll try to get it in camera here. The desk camera is not, the most wide lens in the world, but now I need this. This is where I'm at. I wonder if I could set this up in a way that's, if I put it right here. I'm right here, but then you can't see the bricks. Yeah, that's not really a great way to do it, but I'll just show you guys if I can't find one in particular. Monoculture. Yeah, it used to be much more of a monoculture. Also, stream brought to you by Rain. No, it's not. Oh, I don't know why I'm showing it on the desk cam. Like I can just show it right here. Um, Big energy drink addict. Probably not good. Probably not good for my heart. I don't do anything crazy. Like I'm not drinking them all day. I drink one a day, and not every day of the week, but um, just that caffeine. Some people will drink 6 cups of coffee a day. I just do one energy drink. Greetings from Phone User. Thank you so much for the super chat, Phone User. That's already 3 out of 10 right there. You're gonna watch Die Hard again soon. That's a good one. I gotta watch that in full again. I've of course seen it, and I've seen clips of it throughout my life. There's only one time I actually like watched it, and it was not recent. So I should really do that. This is the wrong piece, I just realized. There we go. Put this here. One, two, three, four, five, six. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's a square. And these go on like that. There we go. I'm going to turn down this light a little bit because it looks like it's kind of bright here on the desk. 1 second. Did you guys hear my TOS door sound? Chris, thank you very much for the super chat. Have you ever thought about becoming a hand model? A hand model? I don't think. I mean, look. This is what you think will be a hand model. I don't think so. But thank you. I appreciate it. Drink 6 Pepsis per day. Coffee is too bitter. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different coffees, but yeah, I don't drink regular soda, but I drink diet soda. But I've been mostly sticking to caffeine free, like Sprite, for example, like Sprite Zero and stuff like that, because I do have the energy drink, so I don't want to load up on caffeine after that. But it's fair. And then after this, as you can tell from my ridiculous hair, after this, I am going to get a haircut. So that's good. Desperately needed. Of course, I planned to do this stream yesterday. Yesterday was my dad's birthday. For anyone who did not see the video I posted, he passed away earlier this year, and went out to dinner with my brother for his birthday. And I planned to do this stream yesterday, but just the time got away from me. And then the Supergirl trailer came out. That was originally going to be I was going to react on stream, Just didn't get that set up. So still recorded and posted that yesterday. Would like to do more of those since now that I have this setup, that literally took me 10 minutes to record and then another 10 minutes to make the thumbnail and post. So, um, that was good. But anyway, so then I'm like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow, forgetting that I have a haircut scheduled right in the middle of the day. So here we are. All right, and then these go underneath here. Thank you, Husker Chuck. Appreciate it. You definitely couldn't survive without coffee. I don't know how people start their day without caffeine. Yeah, it's obviously not good that we all are addicted like that, but it is what it is. I mean, I can survive, like, if I can do it, but especially now because I literally don't have a real job. But but, even when I was working in an office, like, I could do it, but yeah, it's pretty miserable. Okay, I am looking for this single block part, just like a little square. This is what I already have built. Put that aside. I'm not seeing it. I don't see it. Is there coffee in that nebula? Yeah. The other bag that you thought were spare parts. Okay, yeah. Oh, maybe this is just small parts. Talking about this bag? These are all small parts. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing them, I think. Good call. Good call out, Doctor Who Book Club. Did you get rid of the podcast in your name? Wasn't it Doctor Who Book Club Podcast or something like that? You had to shorten it up, you had to modernize. I actually need two of these, though. I don't want to pour out this whole bag. Oh, I see it. I see it. I see it. I don't see it. I see it. Thank you, Greg. Yeah, good reminder. Please no spoilers. We have finished season 2 of Deep Space Nine and obviously finished TNG the series. Nothing past that air date order. So no Generations, no TNG movie spoilers, no Deep Space Nine 3 or Beyond, no Voyager spoilers. And if you think you're clever and you think you're hinting at something that you think isn't a spoiler, it probably still is. I'm smart. Believe it or not. I see things online that I'm able to usually ignore, but then when I see things online and then people are winking at the camera with their comments, it kind of puts it together for me. So I probably already know things I shouldn't know. So please don't. Especially on this live stream. Like if you want to do it on a comments on a video, I would ask that you do not do that. But at least at the end of the day, it's like my fault for reading those comments. But it's like I'm here doing a stream trying to interact with you guys. So please do not. Okay, bring this guy back in. What the hell? I think this goes like this. What kind of piece is that? And then we got these two guys that go on either side of it. Also, I just found out, I don't know if you guys probably can't tell the difference at all, but I thought it was pretty neat. I'm going to go show you the difference real quick. I was messing around with my settings. So when I first got this computer, I just raw dogged it in terms of like turn on the webcam, see what it looks like. I just realized when I actually open up my camera settings in my computer for the webcam, I have all these different options because it defaulted to having this center stage turned on. Here, I just turned it on. And, I like it, but I don't know. It kind of makes me feel like seasick a little bit. So I turned that off. But in discovering how to turn it off, I found all these other options. So, like, there's a portrait option on here. I'm not going to use that because, I mean, that'll get rid of all the fun stuff behind me. But then, like, I turned this one on. Here's this studio light. So that's what it would look like normally. And that's the studio light. I thought that was pretty cool. And it's not like too egregious. I could even turn it up more if I wanted, but I have it like halfway. And then there's these uh reactions. Like, why would I do this? Like, I don't even know what this reaction is, to be honest with you. I don't know if that does anything. And then there's even green screen background, all built in. I'm probably fascinated by something that's like just so normal. I'm just like, wow, look, a green screen in my webcam. It's like been around for 10 years. All right, got this gray piece, and I need a little gray dot type piece. Okay, give me that little bag again. Did you get to see Bill Shatner on stage? No, I met him. Obviously, I got my autographs here behind me, but I, first of all, it was the first con I ever went to, and I purposely did not, I will take the risk of going in terms of just so I can meet these people, but I'm not, I'm gonna avoid anything that could possibly spoil me. And a William Shatner Q&A panel, I've heard his reputation that he doesn't even talk about Star Trek or tries to avoid it, which is hilarious. But even with that, I'm not gonna put myself, you never know. So I did not see any panels or anything like that, and I won't until my rule has always been after 2002, which is Nemesis, right? After the last TNG movie, I'll feel more comfortable being like, not go out of my way to look for spoilers, obviously, but like, okay, if I go to a TNG panel or something and there's a spoiler for Discovery, like, okay, it is what it is. But until then, until that point, which is probably still close to, I don't know, 4 or 5 years in the future. Um, Thank you, Halfway Glad, for the big super chat. Thank you so much. Hi, Josh. Appreciate the effort you and Alex put into your videos. It's obvious much fun you both have together. What advice would you give to someone thinking about starting a channel but is scared? That's a great question, and thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate that. I guess for a little bit more detail, I mean, you don't have to, but I guess for a little bit more context in terms of why you're scared would help. But let's just assume it's because of, unless you tell me otherwise, assume it's because of just like the uncomfortableness of getting on camera or putting your stuff online. Um, I understand that. Me personally, I've been lucky enough that it hasn't really been a problem because being public and no stable job for sure. Okay, being public, I'll tackle that one first. Instead of in the case of no stable job, I'm assuming you mean doing it full time. I'll get to that in a second. But in terms of being on camera, I grew up in the YouTube era. YouTube came out when I was in 5th grade. So I've been posting videos on YouTube since 2006, since I was 11 years old. Um, and so because of that, the public part of it isn't like as big of a deal to me because I've been putting, content online for so long. And then I also, you know, oh, we got a sticker coming up, guys. We might be cooked. Um, I also in high school and things when I was making these videos very open about sharing them to everyone I know because I wanted obviously people to watch my videos. So by the time I even got to an age where I might be like embarrassed of that, it's kind of like well too late. People already know me as someone who like makes stuff. But even with that being said, I still understand that there's a level of possible embarrassment, especially when you're someone who does not have a following and you're trying to post content. There's still, I think the stigma has somewhat gone away, but there is still definitely still a stigma. Like in your real life, if you know someone and you're like, oh, they started doing YouTube videos or oh, they started doing this, there's kind of like that negative stigma on it. Of course, once you actually get any type of success at all, then everyone's going to switch up. But I would just say the most important thing is just to make it for yourself. Like when Alex and I started this channel, we didn't do it with the purposes of like thinking we were going to be huge or anything. Obviously, we're still not. Um, but we just did it because we wanted to hang out and watch stuff together. So it was an excuse for that. I've done like podcasts and stuff with my friends in the past, never went anywhere in terms of a following, but it was an excuse to get together with my friends. And it's unfortunate that in the modern day, as an adult, you have to have content excuses to hang out with your friends, but sometimes it is what it is. And so as long as you're doing something that you have passion in and you're doing it for yourself, then the results, you will care about them. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and be like, "Oh, none of it matters." Like you will care absolutely, but that's the most important thing in my opinion. And that's why every decision we've made on the channel, even if it's been, the best in terms of results based for us, it's all been based on what we enjoy. We could have continued things that would have done well. We could have stopped things that don't do well and maybe been better off from a channel perspective, but we want to do things we enjoy. Okay, guys, so I'm really terrible at this kind of stuff, so please forgive me in advance. I'm going to mess up this sticker so bad. Okay, not horrible. Not the best, but not horrible. I hope that answered your question. And then in terms of advice, yeah, also I would just say you just got to do it. I mean, just like anything else in life. I mean, I could take that advice for myself when it comes to being more physically active or eating better, right? Like anyone can take that advice in anything, but it is truly like you just got to do it. And every time you post a video or every time you do it, it's just going to get easier and easier in terms of your fear or in terms of your hesitancy. Also, your first like 100 videos, no matter how technically skilled or on camera skilled you are, like your first 100 videos are going to suck. So just accept that. That doesn't mean don't try or have low effort on purpose, but just be aware like your first 100 videos will suck. So if anyone finds you in those first 100 videos and likes you, like just consider yourself extremely lucky and blessed because it will suck. And then as you continue to improve, you will always look back and think whatever you did before was sucked compared to now. I mean, I still feel that. So don't be concerned. I don't want to say don't be concerned about the quality in the sense of don't try. Just don't get too caught up on it. Don't be too worried about like, oh, if I don't post this perfect video that can compete with, big YouTubers, no one's going to watch it. You just got to do it. And then in terms of the stable job part, I'm guessing you're talking about doing it full time. We've been doing this for years. I just started doing it full time about 5 months ago, and like it still terrified me to do that, even though my actual real job had become my secondary source of income for a long time. But just leaving that, like you said, the comfort of it, the safety of it, that is something that do not do that. Like, absolutely do not do that until you are in a place where you are more than comfortable with that. Um, I know the mindset of like, oh, you got to go all in, just go all in. And it's like with online content creation, do not go all in until like you are extremely sure that you'll be okay. That's my advice anyway. I've heard the argument of like, well, if you have a fallback or if you have something else, you'll never be able to commit to it. And I understand that, but you got to also like just, live your life and not be broke. Living in a capitalist society, it is what it is. Funny that I would go to space in a heartbeat, but I'm terrified of the ocean. I'm terrified probably of both, but honestly, I think I might agree with you. If was given the choice, I would do space over the ocean. First of all, out of enjoyment, but even just a pure fear aspect, I would agree. Yeah, you're welcome. I hope that helps. And also, just last piece on it, at the end of the day, life is a lie, nothing is real. Who cares? Just do it. You know what I mean? It's like at the end of the day, who cares? Like if you try a YouTube video for 3 months and you decide you don't like it or it's not, you want to give up. Okay, who cares? Like you're back to where you are now. Like there's no worse scenario than that. So it's like might as well. New target audience T-shirt. Yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I'll leave it at that. I hope that was good advice. I hope so. Not that I'm anyone to give advice, but I appreciate you asking. Okay, I need these weird little pieces. These ones. I'm assuming They're in the bag because I don't see them here. Oh, here's one. This is what it looks like. Fedora the Explorer, former patron. What's up? Question: how do you feel about the fact that DS9 hasn't done any holodeck stories despite having holosuites? Uh, yeah, I guess in the sense of specific holosuite stories, like takes place like a Big Goodbye or a Fistful of Datas. Not mad about it. Sorry about the bag crinkling. Um, I mean, would I welcome it? Absolutely. Um, I think TNG, definitely had a good amount of great ones. I think Emergence is the only one I didn't like. So, how did I get to the next page? Oh, I accidentally pages fell open here. 1 second. There we go. What was I saying? Yeah, I would welcome it. I'm not disappointed though. I'm not like, oh man, use a Holosuite episode. But maybe if they continue not to have any, and we're a couple seasons removed from Deep Space Nine, and I don't know if Voyager has a holodeck or anything, then maybe I'll start to miss it and be like, oh man, do a Holosuite episode. But I don't feel like that yet at this point. So these red pieces go through this hole. That's weird. Oh shit. Oh, God. It's gone. Most writers will never make a living as writers. Yeah, that's crazy. There we go. I need to do another one. You may never leave the holodeck. What is Alex doing? I haven't texted him today, but my guess is he's working. Alex still has a full-time job. So he typically works normal hours, and then we record in the evenings, typically Monday through Wednesday, but for December we lowered that down to Monday and Tuesday, because I wanted some more time for the editing side, and we've recorded a bunch of stuff that hasn't been posted anywhere that I want to catch up on. And we're obviously in this break, so will you do tier rankings for X Files seasons? Yes, we will. And I already announced this on Patreon last week, but for you guys here in the stream, we are continuing the X Files, and not only continuing it, we are watching the show indefinitely, unless something changes dramatically. We are going to be watching it as the first show that we are committing to watching in the way that we are committing to watching all of Star Trek. We are going to watch all of the X Files. So we've loved it. There's only been, I think, one episode out of the 13 that I didn't like, which was Space, and there was one episode of the 13 Alex didn't like. That's a pretty great track record. On top of that, there's been an episode we've absolutely loved and a whole plethora of ones we really, really enjoyed. So, and that's with people saying that season one isn't even, as good as the show gets. So, we are going to watch that. And it's going to continue at one a week. So it's going to be a slower pace, obviously, than Star Trek. But, that's fair considering the audience. Okay, so this needs to go like this. How interesting. Can imagine your job was like deciding how to put these to like deciding what goes into the build. It's probably, I'm sure it's hundreds of people. All right, let's keep it rolling. Joe Concepts, thank you so much for the super chat. I did my first interview. I did my first video interview and can barely watch it. I feel like I'm way too twitchy in it. Did a second and corrected that. Just got to try it. Well, absolutely. Now, were you the interviewer, like you were interviewing someone, or were you being interviewed? Either way, I understand your point. All right, now I got to put a red one in the middle of this. Joined Patreon for the X Files. That's great. Phil says I love Vince Gilligan, but I'm totally uninterested in the. I'm assuming you mean X Files. Yeah, that's unfortunate, Phil. I'm sorry. Did you try the Vince Gilligan episodes? I don't know when he joins the show. I don't see any pink bricks at this point. We did watch the first 2 episodes of Pluribus. It's on Patreon, full watch along. I think that'll be another thing during the YouTube break. I might edit those and put them up, and if they get any traction at all, we might continue that. Okay. I dropped a darn piece. There we go. Love the X Files reactions. Well, thank you very much. One is going up today. Fire. That's going up. I mean, it's already locked and loaded. I just got to publish it. That'll be up a little bit later today. I'm looking for. It's asking for 2 more of these small pieces. But I'm not seeing them in here. Oh, oh my god. You know, I might as well just pour this out at this point. Try to keep it together at least so it's not. And I don't think it's. Is it this one? Because this one has like weird stuff on it. I think it might be though. Oh my gosh. Okay. It's not that. It's this. It's this piece. I thought it was 2 of these single together. But no, it's this double piece. There you go. Oh, did I skip a part? Oh, this gets to go on here. And then this goes inside like that. Blazing Bullets. I like that name. Thank you very much for the super chat. Can't watch The Thing without thinking of X-Files Ice. The 2 are permanently connected in my subconscious. You reckon that will happen for you? I don't know if I would say linked in my subconscious, but I would definitely say that I'll always think of the other. So if that's what you mean, yeah, like if I were to watch The Thing again, I'd probably be like, have Ice in my mind and then vice versa. I mean, you can't watch Ice without thinking of The Thing. That part is for sure. But the other way around, probably. This guy goes on top. And then I need 2 flat pieces. I think these should go on the sides. Look at that, guys. You cannot tell me that this does not look like the Shellcraft Onizuka. Thank you very much for the super chat, by the way. Blazing Bullets. We Oh, it looks like that goal ended. I hate when it does that. I didn't edit the time on the goal. It runs out in like 30 minutes. Let me just count my own here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we got 6. So we're close. When you guys are done with the X Files, you should do Fringe. I think you'd be into it. Yeah, I've heard that. That's definitely a possibility. But that's a, I mean, you talking about the future. We're doing one a week. If that never, increases, we're talking many years at this point. So keep that in the backlog for sure. Godflesh, how do you feel about the Romulans in TNG? In season 4, they were being built up as the main bad guys of TNG, but after Redemption, they don't get much development. Any other story you'd like to see? Uh, I think I think what happened is, I think the Sela thing, you know, I liked it, but I don't know if it should have been Romulans with Sela. Maybe do one or the other. Maybe make it a Romulan story, or make it Sela as something else. Her as a Romulan obviously describes me being a Romulan. Like, that's neat as a reveal. Um, but I, they never really came back from that in a sense. In terms of, like, they set her up, she gets Vulcan neck pinched by Spock, and then is just gone. So overall, I do like the Romulans in TNG, but, like, let's be honest, not really bad guys, but in terms of alien species, TNG is the Klingon show. In my opinion, TOS is still the Romulan show. If I want to see really good Romulan episodes, I'll go watch TOS. But there are some great ones in TNG. You know, the Mind's Eye, is really great. The Defector, the Enemy. There's great Romulan episodes, so I don't want to discount that. But post Redemption, there's really nothing there for Romulans. Marcus, any schedule changes for 2026? Sorry if I missed any news. Um, Alex and I will do our, like, meeting, like, decision discussion about 2026 in terms of schedule and all that when we actually start after the holidays. But just off the top of my head, I mean, it's not gonna be anything crazy. Um, you're still gonna have 3 Star Treks a week. The plan is always typically, uh, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. But sometimes there's delays, and if that happens, one could get pushed to Saturday. That does happen. X Files will continue to be Fridays, and then there will be a small break for X Files until we jump back into it. But it'll be on Fridays, and then Wednesdays ideally is for the horror gallery, but the horror gallery is bottom priority right now because that's purely just a passion thing with me and Alex of what we like to watch. So that's not, every week, but ideally that's on Wednesdays, and then ideally Saturday and Sunday is extra stuff, cinematic trailers, shorts, PO box, those kind of things. That's like my ideal schedule in my head, but obviously things change week to week. And I'm guessing you were talking about the YouTube schedule. So, Dewey Dawson, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Do you put your YouTube edits on Patreon early, or is it just like your raw reaction? Been thinking about becoming a member, but I hate having to line up timestamps. Yeah, so in terms of the stuff that's super early is those full watch alongs. Because obviously we can watch those, the edit is quicker, and they're up. So that is the early part of it. I would say, in addition to, even if you don't line up the syncs, if you have interest in patron takes, those all get recorded and everything when we watch the episode. So if you have interest in that, that's also a reason to be on the Patreon. But in terms of the YouTube side, no, they are typically not that early. Once in a while, I can get them up a day or so early. But just with my schedule, I don't have any editors. Most videos you guys are seeing on YouTube, I'm uploading those, same day. Once in a while, like I said, especially with Star Trek, once in a while I can get them early. Um, but like, I know for a fact the TNG finale will be early. But on the whole, no, they're typically not more than a few hours early, if that. So I do apologize for that. But that, I used to have early access as a benefit. There was even at one time 3-day early access is one of our benefits. But as we've gotten busier, as we've made more content, it's just not a benefit I can really offer, that I can guarantee at this point. If we weren't doing, 4 to 5 YouTube episodes a week, then I could still guarantee that. Or if we were big enough to have a full-time editor, but we're not anywhere close to that. But thank you for the super chat very much. And even if you don't become a patron, still thank you for the support. Thank you for the super chat. I guess they won't watch B5 until they finish X Files. Yeah, guys, at this point, we're not going to be watching anything sci-fi related outside of Star Trek. Like, there's no plan to do that unless the Bridge Crew, which is our Patreon top tier, they get to vote for a Patreon exclusive series. If they voted for Babylon 5 or whatever they voted for, then we have to watch it. That's why right now we're watching The Expanse. We're about to finish season 4. Obviously that's a sci-fi show, but in terms of the YouTube and general shows that we're watching, it doesn't make sense to do anything outside of Star Trek schedule wise until we're, very far along. All right, back to this. Yes, Limey, I am full time at this point. Been full time since June 30th. That's why I'm here building Legos on Friday morning. And most of the time, yeah, as Ty says, most of my time goes to editing. I'm editing probably close to 50 hours a week. What video editing software do I use? I use DaVinci Resolve, which is free. I use the free version. There are obviously more benefits and tools if you pay for it. I think it's like $300 or something, but I use the free version. Works perfectly fine. I recommend that. Hmm. I think this goes like this. I have to ask your guys' opinion here in a second. Okay. Does how it shows here, you see that right there? Those two pieces, I think they go just on the corner. So look at that drawing. And then, do you think I put that on right? I think that's correct. Mark, thank you for the super chat. Was Gates everything you hoped? Wife jealous. Well, what's actually funny is my wife, obviously, if you guys saw the picture, she was with me. She met everybody. And when we went up, Gates was the first person we met. And the first thing she said when we walked up to her was she looked at my wife and complimented her hair. And they talked about that for, 10 seconds or so while I'm standing there going, marking out, freaking out about Gates. They're talking about her hair. So, she really liked her as well. But yeah, Gates was amazing. Okay. Also, I think being jealous of a I mean, I don't know. Everyone do your own relationship your own way, but I personally, I think being jealous of a celebrity is kinda silly. I mean, obviously, you can act obnoxious about it. Like, if you're in a relationship and you're constantly talking about all these celebrities you wanna rail, like, that's pretty cringe. But, you know, if you're a fan of a celebrity and they happen to be the opposite sex, I don't think that's, like, you know what I mean? Okay. What software do you use to get video off your Blu-ray DVDs? Well, I don't know. I'll have to advise my legal counsel on that one. I have heard that there is an app you can download onto your computer called Make MKV, which turns files from DVDs and Blu-rays into an MKV file. I heard that that exists. I've never personally used that. And even if I did, I of course would never share any of that or make that publicly available. But if you happen to have an MKV file on your computer, you can then convert that to an MP4 or MOV or whatever else you want with a app called Handbrake. Both of these apps, actually, MKV has you can get there's like a key that they change every month. I heard, and you can get that online from what I understand. But you can also just buy it permanently. But Handbrake is free, just a conversion tool. And because all computers no longer come with any type of disk drive, of course, you have to have an external one of those. Biggest disappointment of TNG was how they did not develop Dr. Crusher as a character. She was just there like Geordi. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, Greg, I know that we had that talk about that in the Bridge Crew Discord, but yeah, agree 100%. I mean, I think any show with 7 core characters is going to have some more underdeveloped than others. You know, it is what it is. But an interesting thing I was thinking about is if I had to, it'd be too easy to just be like, oh, pick out the worst episodes and switch those with Dr. Crusher and Geordi ones. Like, that's too easy. But if I had to pick like actual character focused episodes to switch out and take away from other characters and give them to them, which ones would they be? I think easy ones would be like Rightful Heir or like any of the weaker Klingon ones, switch that out with a Crusher or Geordi episode. Because there's a lot of Klingon ones, and I love the Klingon stuff, but there's some weaker ones. I was okay with Birthright, but a lot of people hate that one. Or maybe not hate, but not a fan. See you later, Ty. Um, I'm off work with a bad case of norovirus. Any chance you could just spam upload some DS9 reactions that I can watch in the meantime? Sorry about that, Darren. No, I can't. Do not have that ability, but I hope you feel better soon. Limey says apparently Marina Sirtis would go for Thanksgiving with the Roddenberries, so that might have been why she got more spotlight than Gates. That's interesting because I have heard before that she actually at one point lived with the Roddenberries as well. Seemed very close to them, and that that's awesome. But also, Deanna doesn't really get any good focus until like at least season 4, and Gene was not really. Yeah, as Greg said, very little to do with TNG after season 2. So early on, she just kind of like was there. I mean, you watch Encounter at Farpoint, you think she's going to be a big deal. Like they really lean into her Betazoid gimmick, but kind of just goes away. All right, guys, this is a big moment. We are now combining these two pieces. Are you ready for this? Oh, oh. Check that out. You know what? I think this might be the chair or the console. There might be a seat that goes here eventually. Look at that. We are cooking with gas. What was that noise I just made? I was trying to do like a Halo-esque type like epic noise. Oh. Wait, this is actually pretty funny. I think Ensign Row here at the bottom of the page shows you like your progress. We got a long way to go, boys. Yeah, we've been sent the link to the Honest Trailers video a lot. I don't know, man. First of all, I'll just say I am extremely obviously familiar with Honest Trailers. I watched it just like everyone else when it was a really big deal. Obviously, didn't watch the TNG one, that at least that I remember. But, um, you know, so good content and everything. But anytime people want us to watch something like that or watch the bloopers, it's like, what are we gonna get out of it from a content standpoint? You know, it's like we're gonna watch it and laugh because it's funny. Like, I don't know. We're not really that kind of reactors. And the last thing anyone's gonna want is watch us watch it and then shit on it or something. So it's like, I don't know. The gap between the two corner pieces were shown to have been bridged by two. Uh oh. Okay, wait a minute. The gap between the two corner pieces. You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific. What do you? I mean, this looks like the picture. Which gap? This gap in the back? Okay. I think you're right. Yeah, okay. I think this is the step right here that I missed. Great call out. Great call out. Connor, great call out. Mark, thank you so much for the super chat. Let me check real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the eighth super chat. All right, cool. So just two more to hit that goal. Thank you very much. I met Shatner in Akron last year. He doesn't say much, but wasn't a dick. Very glad I crossed that off my bucket list. I want to see LeVar Burton next. Yeah, that's great, Mark. I actually would have described my experience meeting Shatner literally the exact same way. He doesn't say much, but wasn't a dick. That's exactly how I would describe it. I literally walked up. This is my impression. So if you guys are William Shatner, this is me. Okay. Now there was no chair there. So just pretend that this chair is me walking up to him. I walk up and go, "Hi, sir. It's really great to meet you." Hand him the 8x10. He doesn't say anything. I'm standing there. Then he looks up and goes, "Thank you, Josh. Here you go." And looks at me. And I look down at it and I go, "All right, thank you." And then I walk away. That's it. Now, I'm not shitting on the guy. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm just saying that that experience compared to this is every other celebrity experience I had that day. Gates, Jonathan Frakes, Brent Spiner, and then my wife met four of the cast members from Twilight. And then I met the cover artist of the Goosebumps books. Everyone else I met that day, it was more like this. I approached their table. So now I'm the person in this scenario. I approach their table and they go, "Did they know my name right away?" Because my name would be on the picture. Here, like, yeah, let's pretend I'm just handing them the picture. Yeah. They go, "Oh, hey, Josh. Oh, wow, great to meet you, man. Thanks for being here. Blah, blah, blah. What's up?" Talking to me. That type of engagement, that level of engagement versus, you know, the Shatner. But again, I'm glad I got to meet him. He wasn't a dick. I mean, bro's in his 90s. What do you want? Yeah, God bless you. He's in his 90s. All right, let's do some more of this. I think I can go for another 40 minutes or so before I have to leave for this haircut. Let me double check. Yeah. Meeting Frakes and Gates next month at a con in Portland. Sick. Is that the Fan Expo or whatever it's called? Because I think one of those is coming to Cleveland in March. Okay. I found the missing step, so let's get those pieces. Do those pieces exist? Here's one of them. Do you guys see the other one that looks like this? That looks like slanted like this? Oh, I should put these more on screen for you guys. It's right here. Does a shuttle have a warp drive? I think warp 5. Well, no, these aren't round. This isn't a runabout, is it? It's just a shuttle. How fast did did the regular shuttles have warp? I don't in TNG. I don't remember them saying that. Or I'm not saying they didn't. I'm saying I don't remember whether or not they said that. All right, we're back to where we were. I need these little gray pieces. Like this guy. Yes, they can warp. They must have warp or Scotty wouldn't get very far. I mean, I guess. I mean, yeah, you're right. I guess sometimes I forget it's like, you know, impulse is basically like when it comes to the amount of time that they're the amount of distance that they're going, impulse is really just like not going to get you anywhere, is it? Which is crazy to think. But I mean, that's the vastness of space, I guess. Top speed of warp 4. Okay, that's fair. Mark again, getting us almost to the goal. Just one more super chat of $5 or more. We'll hit that goal. Security guy yelled out to the line several times, "Do not touch Mr. Shatner." I guess some older ladies don't keep their hands to themselves. That is hilarious. Wow. That's hilarious. That did not happen with me, fortunately. I also didn't try to touch him. I don't think anyone did, but that is crazy. Gates said, when we were going to take our picture, she was like, "Oh, scooting close," and I'm just like trying to be polite, and she's like, "You can touch me, it's okay. I'll just scream." I thought that was pretty funny. Okay, well, we're not. So this is finished for now. So we got this at least. I'm gonna go add this to the collection back there. And then when we took the photo with Jonathan Frakes, he goes, "We're getting in close," and he looks at my wife and he goes, "Is it okay if I touch your shoulder?" And she's like, "Yeah." We were joking afterwards, like, "What if you had said no?" No, please do not. But obviously, I understand why he's asking. Today's climate. Again. Is Farscape on your to-do list? Well, I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of on the top of the screen, but it is right there. Wouldn't say it's on the to-do list. Not sure if you were here earlier, Tin Blue, but like I said, as far as sci-fi goes, unless our bridge crew votes for it, I don't foresee any sci-fi on the channel outside of Star Trek until at least until we're through Enterprise. Because we're doing 3 a week. Like if we were still doing 2 a week, or God forbid 1 a week, imagine that. Imagine doing DS9 and TNG and Voyager overlapping with 1 a week. But anyway, if we were doing less, then maybe. But I just can't see doing 3 Star Trek a week and doing another sci-fi. It just doesn't make any sense. But in terms of post, in terms of like when we're actually able to do it, yeah, I would love to watch Farscape. I really like the pilot. I love puppetry. I love practical effects. And I have heard that the show falls off, eventually, but whatever. I'd watch it. Lightning, your channel was my number one in the year recap. Thank you for the content. Well, thank you for making us your number one channel. We're like barely top 3 in Star Trek reactions in terms of audience size. So thank you for making us your number one. We were your number one as well, Limey. All right, based. If anyone's curious, we were also my number one because I'm a narcissist. What the actual heck? Are these not the same piece? They are not the same piece. Oh wait, I had it turned incorrectly. See, my ironic bridge crew are voting non-sci-fi shows. They actually are not. If it works, it works, I guess. But at some point, it might not make sense if it's harboring subscriber numbers. Yeah. So they actually, what they vote for is a Patreon exclusive series. That's full watch along and eventually edited. And they've done 4 votes this year, and they were all the Expanse. So we've watched the Expanse season 1 through 4, um, which is obviously sci-fi. So they did not vote for the X Files. They didn't vote for anything else. They've only voted for the Expanse. So that is what we have been watching. That's not the right piece. Um, and I would not expect. I would be surprised if they choose a non-sci-fi show, since it is the only way for us to watch other sci-fi. But again, that's only on Patreon. It will eventually hit YouTube. Like eventually, the edited expanse will hit YouTube. But to give you an idea on how the pacing on that is going, um, I have we are now on season 4 with the full watch alongs. I have posted maybe 3 edited expanse reactions over the past 6 months. And we're in like season 2 episode 4 was the last edit that hit Patreon. So that is, I got to get better at that. That's a New Year's resolution for me is to catch up on those. But instead I'm here building Legos. But I had to do different stuff like this. Sometimes I get a little bit not mad, but I get a little bit like frustrated at myself like you do all this other stuff. It's like you're making these cinematic trailers, you're doing these edits, you're doing a live stream building Legos. You need to do these expanse edits. You need to do these movie reactions, edit these movie reactions. And it's like I do feel that way about myself a lot. But then, it's like my brain can only handle so much YouTube reaction editing, you know? And it's like I don't want to burn out and I don't want to go crazy, but I still want to be able to make, you know, a good amount of content like even if it's sitting here building Legos instead of doing those edits. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's just the cope I use to be lazy and be procrastinator. But have you read Leviathan Wakes? No, I don't really read. I'm dumb. However, just the other day, I finally started my first Star Trek novel. It is Imzadi, which was published in 1992. I'm gonna hold off going too much into it. I have read the first 6 chapters. I'm not going to go too much into it because I do plan on actually covering it, maybe on a live stream and then turning the clip into a video in terms of my thoughts on the book. Not really in terms of a critical review because, again, I don't read, but just as a pure fan enjoyment, first time reading a Star Trek novel. Imzadi is your favorite Star Trek book. Okay, Daniel, there you go. Katie's here. Yeah, Katie actually sent that to us. So thank you, Katie. I'm finally getting to it. And, I had kind of waited to finish the show to do any reading. Even though it's published in 92, I could have technically been fine, reading it during season 6 or whatever. But yeah, not gonna go too much into it and not gonna go into spoilers, but I will just say not really what I expected at all. And also, I know Daniel just said it's his favorite book, so maybe this is a high bar, but you know, the emotion that it's hitting and the themes they're dealing with, like, is a lot of stuff I wish we saw more of in the show. So not gonna get too much into detail again. I will eventually review that book and go into, spoiler free as well as spoilers in that, you know. Now, the real question is how long will it take me to finish a 400-page book? I mean, I'm a 50 pages in after my first sitting, but I haven't read a book since like 2020 when COVID hit. And I went, maybe I should read. And I read like 3 books. I read the first Harry Potter, I read Woman in the Window, and I read this one random like teen horror book that I don't remember the name of. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed reading. But then the world opened back up and I had things to do. Yes, you did also send us Q and Law. Yeah, I started with Imzadi just because, just from the book, the description on the book, it seemed like it was going to cover, Deanna and Riker's relationship pre TNG, and I was like, that's very interesting to me. And I know it's not canon. I know I shouldn't, take it as canon, but it is interesting still. So I started with that one. You listen to audiobooks while you play Skyrim with no fast travel. No fast travel is wow, that's awesome. But audiobooks that since you bring that up, I actually, I've always gone back and forth on are audiobooks reading? And the answer is no, it's not the physical act of reading. But in terms of if you listen to an audiobook, can you justly say to someone, yeah, I read that book because you listened to the audiobook? That's something that I'm still not sure of, to be honest. Um, because so like the main audiobook I listened to was Stephen King's It. However, for about half of the book, I did read along while listening to the audiobook. This was years ago, like 2017. Um, But then for the other half, I was just, like, playing Madden or something and had the audiobook in, and I don't know if I would feel confident in saying I read it, even though technically I did. Um, and so I actually saw a clip of Stephen King saying that he considers it reading. So, I mean, not to appeal to authority or anything, but that made me feel a little bit better. I mean, I remember it, I was paying attention to it, but I don't know, there's something just a little bit different about reading a physical, you know, even this is really deep. I mean, this is funny for me because I don't even read, so why do I care? Why do I have this opinion? But even like, my wife has a Kindle, and it's like I tried reading on that, and I'm just like, I feel like I'm not reading. It's like a weird take, but like I feel like I'm not actually reading. Like I feel like if I have the physical book and I read on a Kindle, I'm like cheating. I don't know. Katie says Imzadi is canon for me since they've never really got into their history to that extent anywhere else. Yeah, Katie, I don't know how long ago you read it, but again, I won't go into spoilers or anything, but I will just say the beginning of the book, the framing of the book, it actually starts off in the future. And one thing that I find very interesting is that it was published in 92, so the show was still going on. And there's in particular one detail, there may end up being more, I don't know, but there's in particular one detail that just immediately does not match up with what ends up happening in the show. And I just find it very interesting that it's like interesting choice to do something set in the future when the show is still going on. Of course you can just ignore it or whatever, but I don't want to get into specifically what that is to spoil anything, but I actually just got to the point in the book where I believe they're now going to jump into the relationship history. I was surprised how long it took to set up what the actual story is to get into it, but I really enjoyed it. Um, Someone said I didn't want to miss it. Tin Blue said Peter David is for books what Rob Bowman is for TNG directing. That's such an interesting quote. Can you elaborate on that if you're still here? What you mean by that? Pax says if you listen to an audiobook, you're welcome in the book club. You have stuff to say about it. You can say you read it, but you didn't really read it. Okay, yeah, fair enough. It's the difference between liking someone and liking them. Yeah, that's fair. Mark's out of here. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for all the super chats. Have a good one if you're still here. And I think we're only one super chat away from hitting this goal. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, $5 or higher. We are at 9. One more, and I'll make sure to get preemptive strike up tomorrow instead of Monday. But if not, no big deal. Appreciate all you guys being here. I know this isn't the most exciting stream in the world. I just felt bad because I'm like, this thing is gonna take forever, and I want to do it all on stream. That's like I don't know why. Once I get something in my mind, I like commit to it, and I got in my mind I want to do this all on stream. So whether it's just myself or Alex helping me, so I wanted to hop on while I have a few hours this morning and try to get this shuttlecraft started. Which, as you can see, because I'm such a blabbermouth, not even halfway done with. We're finally using the cone. The cone piece. I'm always interested when I see like a unique piece like this. It looks like it's going to be maybe well, do runabouts have nacelles? Is this considered a nacelle? Don't know. Not a ship guy. Four and a half years to get to the X Files. Yeah, I'm just gonna round it out at 5 because you never know. You got to factor in breaks. Like we're gonna naturally take breaks at some point, so probably 5 years to be honest. Oh, here we go. This is gonna be a satisfying. Ah, I'm such an idiot. Okay. Were you not working on a cinematic trailer for Profit and Loss? Yeah, I started that on stream. It just didn't come. It didn't come together. I wasn't happy with how it was going, and I dropped it. and also it's a timing thing. Like, yeah, I could eventually release trailers for like I did a trailer for Night Terrors Cause and Effect. So I can do ones from the past, but I just didn't really like where that one was going in terms of the quality of it. I don't want to release subpar stuff, so I didn't finish it. Dewey! Dewey helped us hit the goal, everybody. Everyone say give you a W to Dewey. Dewey Dawson. Thank you very much. That's a great name. Dewey Dawson. I don't have anything profound to say, but like goals being met, and I've been watching your channel for a while, so 35 bucks. I really appreciate that. W. I'm such an idiot, dude. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, oh wow, I gotta build this whole thing. It's already built on this piece. I didn't even realize. So you just take this and you put it on the piece we already have. Oh, Alina's here. Gooning to warp nacelles. Now you're a real Star Trek fan. Yeah. I was gonna make a comment about this, but I'm gonna not. Let's just say, yeah, no, never mind. So this goes, okay, so I gotta do this twice, basically. Okay, so this goes, this faces this way. And it looks like it sits flush with it. Like that. So now I just gotta do one more. Oh, I love my name. Is that your real name? Dewey Dawson? It's a good name. Studies shown that we do not retain information right off a screen as well as we do from paper. Something to do with screens blinking at a high rate breaks our retention. Wow, is that true? Michael, is it okay if I repeat this fact to other people with the disclaimer, I read this in a live chat? I read this in a live chat. Or what's like the least cringe way to say that to somebody? One of my chatters, someone watching my live stream. See, this way I don't even say, I don't even preface where it came from. I'll just say it. I read this online. That is true. That is true. There is no non-cringe way. Yeah, you know what? I need to just learn that. I need to keep in mind that phrase just for my everyday life. There is no non-cringe way for anything. There is no cringe, only Zool. All right, I got to build that again, by the way. I got to build the other side now. So I actually have to go backwards. My dumb I got to go backwards. It said right up top 2 times. And I'm thinking, oh, the instruction book will walk me through it twice. No, I was supposed to be building 2 of them. Marcus, what's up, man? Thank you for the super chat. You are killing it with the somatic trailer. The music choice for the TNG final trailer was perfect melody and lyrics. How do you come up with these? Well, thank you very much. In terms of my inspiration, it could really come from anywhere, but a lot of times it does come from the music. Well, I guess it's one of two ways. Either I'll decide I want to make a trailer and then go look for music that fits, or I'll hear music and I'll go, I should use this for a trailer. With that one in particular, the TNG one, I don't remember. I of course knew I was going to make a trailer for TNG, but specifically, I think when I heard that version of the Sign of the Times song, I was like, oh, this would be great for like a big epic finale type trailer. So it just kind of comes from that. I have a few locked and loaded right now that I'm just waiting for the right time to use in terms of songs. Um, One thing I like to do is I'll just put in a song that I like into so I use YouTube Music. Spotify can get wrecked. I hate Spotify. But anyway, I just type in whatever song I like or artist that I like. Song works better. And then I'll put version. Like not even what specific version. I'll just type in version. And then that'll bring up like obviously a whole bunch of different versions. And then I'll look for, ones that say epic or orchestral or cinematic or trailer, anything like that. And there's actually a surprising amount of songs that just people make different versions of. So that's how I find a lot of them. And then there's obviously the more trailer specific ones that aren't like covers of songs, like the X Files, not the trailer yesterday, but the first X Files trailer I did, and a few other times where it's clearly just a trailer type song, and that's more so just me, searching out to find a trailer type song. But I really enjoy making them. All the content, Josh, don't burn out. Yeah, I'm trying not to. That's why I'm spending my Friday work day building Legos and talking to you guys instead of doing editing I should be doing, is to not burn out. So, did you enjoy all good things? Well, I'm not going to spoil our YouTube reaction. I will say, I guess, because I don't think there's anyone out there that would enjoy us hating it. We didn't hate all good things. It's not going to be a. It's not going to be a. The game reaction or Aquiel reaction. Ever tried AI prompts to create music? A few years ago, if you watched our videos, I used AI music for like to create our own themes. I don't do that anymore. Not because I have some type of like stance against AI. I don't care. But I just personally kind of lost interest in it. Like, it was a new tool. It wasn't that great. I had my fun with it, and then I just kind of like, okay, I'm done with this. And so I just don't really use it anymore. All good things Star Trek Six edition. Okay, yeah, that's a better analogy, Limey. Yeah, it's not going to be a Star Trek Six reaction, so you can, you can be relaxed if that was your worry. But I won't go into detail of in terms of how much we enjoyed it or anything. Some people hated it as a finale. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't want to get too much again. I don't want to get too much into it, but it'll be up very soon. But I'll just say I haven't come across in our Patreon community. I don't think anyone that hated it as a finale. There were definitely some defectors who were like, "This finale isn't this finale is not that great." But in terms of just straight up hating it as a finale, I would be interested to hear that reasoning. You know, because I'm someone. Let me get on my high horse for a minute. I'm someone who loves differing opinions, and you know, I don't really watch movie reviewers or that much anymore. I'm just too busy, and I don't watch a lot of new movies. So, and like reactors, I don't really watch a ton of reactors or anything like that, especially for TV or movies. But you know, I enjoy hearing a different opinion. Does that make me better than you? I don't know. I'm just, I'm kidding. I hope everyone, I hope all of you here at least, and there's 92 of you. I hope that you guys are all enough of I would assume that all you here are pretty uh dug into our community at this point if you're watching me put Legos together. So I think it's safe to say in front of y'all, I think you're all self-aware enough that everything that we say is a joke in terms of, you know, sometimes they say things and people like think we're serious. It's like, it's a work, brother. Oh yeah, okay. And I gotta Don't be creepy about this, but I gotta build the tip. I've been watching since COVID, but mostly just hoping for Legos. Now that's gotta be a joke. That's gotta be a j You've been watching since COVID? We weren't around since COVID. Do you just mean like our virtual era? Well, I guess some people would say 20 late 2022, there was, it was still COVID. Some people would say that. See you later, Joe. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good weekend. Yeah, I remember it being remote, assumed it was COVID times. Yeah, it's just, that's kinda how everything was at that time. I mean, I was a fan before we started our channel, I've talked about it before, but, I was a fan of Heroes Reforged, the reaction channel, and they started during COVID, or, around then, whenever, and, I also assumed that they were remote. Oh, did I mess this up? No. That they were remote because of COVID, but now it's 2025 and they're still remote. They've done in-person things together, they have a podcast and stuff, but I don't watch them as much anymore only because I just don't have time to watch really reactors, and I'm also not current on anything they do like Marvel or anything like that. Um, but they were my kind of first big exposure into reactions. And Adam actually, if you watch that channel, Adam actually once commented on a TikTok that I posted in like 2021, and I said, "Hey, I'm one of your patrons," and so he followed me. So we still follow each other, which is cool. Wish them the best. They have a huge channel. Big fan of Hector as well, and I feel really bad. I'm forgetting the third guy's name. I just got COVID for the first time ever over the summer, so it's COVID time right now in my book. Yeah, that's fair for sure in terms of obviously it still exists. I'm sure it still kills people. Terrible thing. Um, I am blessed enough that I never once got COVID that I'm aware of. I could have obviously been asymptomatic. You mainly watch the pretty lady reactors. Hey, at least you're self-aware. Also, a reactor being a pretty lady or a disgusting, grotesque man such as myself, neither of those things makes anyone, more or less legitimate, obviously. So, you watching pretty lady reactors doesn't make it like, less than or something. Like they're all still good reactors. I only like watching degenerate men react to things personally. Yes, the degenerate part is the most important. And trust me, we are degenerate, especially Alex. That was for you, Alex, if you're watching. Yeah, that's what Alex is doing right now, watching me build Legos. All right, guys, we did it. This looks like something that would deploy from a boat if you're sinking, like a raft. But anyway, COVID, yeah, I was blessed. I never had it that I'm aware of, and I only took one test. Or I should say, I only had a situation where I had to test once, like on my own, where I personally made the decision to test. I didn't have any symptoms, but I had a family member who had gotten it, and I was somewhere in their vicinity, and I was going to Cedar Point that weekend, so I took it, and it was negative. So I've been lucky on that front, but you know, But I've just been, blessed in that way in general. I play things way too risky. I mean, I don't I mean, I was vaxxed and boosted and everything, but, like, in terms of, like, the flu, like, I rarely ever take my flu shot, and I'd never gotten the flu. I mean, I'm just pushing it. Something's gonna happen one day. You know, every single time I go to the doctor, they're like, "You're in perfect health. You're just morbidly obese." And it's like, "Okay, well, I'll work on that." But, I mean, in perfect health, you say. So, must not be that bad. Good blood pressure, good cholesterol. I'm just obese. Okay, I'll figure it out. But one day something's gonna happen, and uh, I'm gonna go. This is bad. COVID 3 times, felt like I was dying every time. Oh, sorry to hear that. I get sick like twice a decade in terms of like an actual like illness. Most of the time, if I feel shitty, I just like get over it. But like, I think the last time I was sick was maybe like 2015. Like I'm talking like on the couch all day, bucket next to me, can't move, sick. Yeah, do not want to return to that anytime soon. You're happily obese. Yeah, no, yeah, no. I'm not happily, I'm just accepting of it. A few years ago, my dad asked me, he goes, "You ever thought about losing weight?" And I just loved that question so much. I'm like, "Yeah, no, no, the thoughts never crossed my mind." It's like yes, obviously. I have thought about it. I think about it every day. It's like, "You were in shape, round is a shape." Classic. That's a classic, like, middle schooler shirt quote. I'm obese, but taking Ozempic. Yeah. Yeah, nothing's worked for me like that. We'll see. I have this really bad mindset when it comes to, like, things that are supposed to improve my life, where, whether it's medicine, exercise, diet, anything like that, I just think to myself, "Well, this isn't gonna do anything." And that's not a good attitude to have. Like, I try in my life not to have that attitude about things, but when it comes to my physical body, that's just unfortunately my attitude, and I've been correct mostly. How many more pages of this bag do we have? Oh, we got a few. I'm gonna try to get through it here before leaving you guys. At least finish the one bag. And there's only three bags for this one, so maybe I could even hop on later tonight and finish it or something. No promises. Ozempic works wonders. The food noise is gone. Yeah, food noise definitely biggest difference in terms of that. It's crazy, I never knew that term. My wife said that to me for the first time like a year ago or something, and I had never heard of that. But then as soon as you realize what it is, you go, "Oh, yeah, no, yeah, that's exactly the problem." Like food noise is literally exactly the problem. Like if someone wasn't overweight or like didn't understand like, "Oh, you need to lose weight? Stop eating." It's like I never would have been able to describe before like why that's so difficult, but food noise is the answer, and it's like kind of hard to describe to somebody who doesn't feel it. It's almost, I've never been a drug addict, but it's almost like, I mean, it's basically a drug. Like it's not to the point of like going through withdrawals, but it's like obviously food is such a big part of our culture and so widely accepted that there's no stigma around wanting food, but you know you just want it at all times, and then when you're eating it, you just don't want to stop. It's just like pretty crazy, actually. Probably evolution's fault. No, I'm not on it personally. Zepbound is better, 10 pounds a month. Are you saying that from personal experience? Blitz Blots? If so, congratulations. I don't overeat, I just don't cook, I eat wrong. Yeah, it's a big problem too. Yeah, my parents were divorced, and, my dad was the one who cooked, and my mom was the one who got custody. I mean, she cooked too, I don't wanna act as if she never cooked, but, it wasn't a household of, "We don't eat McDonald's," "We don't do those things." It's like, no, we just ate whatever. Like, I had no restrictions, like, I would get yelled at if I, like, overate, all the snacks and the whatever or something, but, like, if I wasn't, like, restricted on anything. Alright, looks like I'm missing a piece. I need another one of these, top ones, and oh, found it. Boogie 29988 lost 300. Yeah, yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit familiar with his journey. Didn't he lose all of that? But didn't he get a surgery where they, like, where they do the thing to your stomach, though? Which, again, I'm not judging, like, based like, however you need to do it? I would do it if I could, if it actually worked. But then didn't he, like, gain it back too? He got the rubber band and then he gained it back? Carbs and sugar are what caused that food noise. I went low carb, just meat and veggies, and my cravings dropped. That's okay. That's good to know. I mean, it makes sense that that would cause that. But to me, I think the biggest difference with food noise is like actually during the instance of eating where I sometimes I'll get food noise just like throughout the day, just general hunger. But like if it's once I start eating, if I'm eating something, I just you just get this feeling like it doesn't matter how much you eat. It's like you just want to eat until you're fucking sick. Um, and that's not good. DoorDash is my downfall. I waited so long to do that for so long, even through COVID and everything. I was like, I am not paying someone to drive me food. Not out of any type of like, anything against drivers like that. Cool for them. But like, Alex did DoorDash for a while. My brother's done it. But just like, I'm not paying extra money. The food's more expensive. It's a waste of money. I'm not doing it. And then literally like last year, I finally broke down. Amazon Prime gave me a free year of Grubhub, which is like who even uses that one? Where it was like no delivery fee and all that. So it was like just the food and the and you tip. And I finally started doing it. I shouldn't have started, man, because now I don't have the Grubhub anymore. But now I use DoorDash and I have Dash Plus, and it's just shouldn't do it. Shouldn't have done it. On the Deanna Troy chocolate sundae diet works great. Alina, are you one of those where you can just eat whatever you want and you're fine? Because if so, that's very lucky. Okay, I messed something up. Oh, I gotta redo this piece. Shit. I thought I was gonna be able to finish this. Okay. This actually needs to go on this guy, I think. There we go. I used to be able to eat whatever, but I'm middle aged now, so that era is over. Middle age? No, you're not. In today's world, middle age is 60s. on. What the hell? What? Okay. Guys, I'm being defeated. This needs to go like this. So this needs to go like this. Somehow. That doesn't make any sense. Or no. Or does it go like this? Look at this image. How do I get these two pieces to look like that? Because, like, this goes on here like that? Can you show all parts of the page? Okay. So I'm going to turn this off for a second. So here's the page. Okay. And then here's the pieces right here. So I have this in here like it's supposed to be. And then there's this. And then this piece. Thin on the white side, the double-sided piece on the thin side. What? Okay. I think it's like this, right? And then this should go like this. But then it needs to be the other side. Because when I hold it up to here, it's the wrong side. Oh my god. Wait, I might have just figured it out. Wait, let me see. Oh my. There's two different pieces. I was using the wrong side. You know, this is why I should have just stuck to my office job. This specifically is the reason. There we go. I was using the mirror universe image. Yeah. Speaking of that, Ryan said, "My wife is mad at you for giving crossover an S tier." All right, Ryan. All right. You gotta explain because first of all, I'm guessing that means she hates crossover. Okay, fine. Whatever, that's fine. Mad at me for giving it an S tier? Mad at me for enjoying it? What, come on now. What do you mean? So now I do the same exact thing with the other side. Couldn't tell it was mirrored because you couldn't tell it was wearing a crop top. It wasn't wearing a crop top or a beard. Yeah, 100%. All right, guys, we're almost there. We're almost there. No, don't be messed up. What are we doing? There we go. All right. Boom. And then it goes right here. Somehow. Oh my gosh. We did it, y'all. Boom. We are cooking with gas. Everyone give themselves a round of applause. If my wife was thinking about some random guy's S tiers, I'd file for divorce. Pay attention to my tiers only. Hey, come on now. I'm not a random guy. I'm Josh from Target Audience. Bit different. Bit different there. Bit different there, Chief. Marcus and Josh, I agree with the S2. I think she was mad the wire. Okay, okay. So it was a comparison. It was a tier comparison anger issue. That I can, makes a little bit more sense. I gotta head out, guys. I got this haircut I gotta get to, but I'll just say on that, first of all, I'm pretty sure I gave the wire an A. So what are we doing? We're mad over an A and an S. What are we doing? Um, just quick explanation. Obviously, Ryan, I'm joking. But quick explanation again on the whole S thing. People seem to equate that like why did I do the Trump pose? People are saying no, but people seem to think that S is like an A is less than an S, which obviously I understand that natural inclination. It is in a sense, but an A grade in our tiers, that is the best grade that you can get without being one of our personal favorites. So the only difference between an A tier and an S tier to us is an S is just to us personally one of our favorites, and that can mean a different number of things. One of our favorites we've seen up to that point, one of our favorites in a certain type of episode, you know, so an S is a very kind of unique, not unique, but a kind of a different type of almost outside of the grading scale, where it's like the grading scale is A through E, and then S is like if you reach that level. So I mean, if you want to be frustrated that me personally didn't love The Wire, on a personal level as much as crossover, like I get that's fine, but it's almost like the same people who are mad that I gave The Inner Light an A instead of an S. It's like I gave it the best grade that it can get, just without it connecting to me personally. So I guess that would be the clarification again on that. But as we're leaving, thank you so much, Connor, for the super chat. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but Lego Instructions has a stutter. Yeah, absolutely. All right, thanks everyone for being here. This was a fun stream. Sometimes I like when it's this more intimate vibe with a few of you guys here, and I can talk to more of you guys easily without missing the chat. So thank you for being here. Have a great weekend. I might stream again later, but might not. Just depends on what I do with my wife later. But also, regardless, X Files video will be up here shortly after I finish this stream. So everyone have a good time. I will see y'all later, and thank you for hitting the goal. So I'll get preemptive strike up tomorrow too as well. All right, see you guys.